Yep, congratulations to Coach Noonan and our soccer team. That's just awesome. Proud of what they were able to accomplish last night, and wish them great luck this weekend. Hard to believe it's the last week. I mean, it just, I don't know where the season went. It has been a incredibly fast year, and I don't know where it's going, but also want to wish everybody happy Thanksgiving this week. Hope everybody get a chance to spend some time with your families, and because life is short, and it's all just a blink of an eye for all of us. I know we're all living and dying with what's going on in this ball game this week, but man, life is precious. Brandon Thomas's mom passed away yesterday morning, so he was able to fly home from San Francisco, and they thought she might have maybe a day, but he actually had 4 or 5 days to be with his mom before she passed yesterday morning. And it just puts a lot of things in perspective. So I hope everybody will take some time this week to love and appreciate your family, and to say thank you for the things that you're thankful for. As far as South Carolina, obviously this is a big game to everybody. It's kind of a season of its own. Each and every year, we all live and die with this one all year long. South Carolina is an excellent team. I don't think either one of us have the record right now that we wanted to have coming into this game. But they're a good football team. If you look at, really study them, and you look at the season in totality, they've had 4 very difficult losses. I mean, that could have gone either way. And it's a play here, a play there. They've got 9-10 wins. So it's been a tough season for them in that regard, as far as some tough, close losses, and same thing with us. A couple tough ones for us as well. But offensively, this is a really, really good offense. Very experienced. They've got great balance. They're scoring 34 points a game. They've thrown 25 touchdown passes. They've had 21 rushing touchdowns. So they do an excellent job in really creating the balance. Dylan has had an excellent year. He really knows their system. A very experienced player. Understands how to get rid of the ball. They've got a stable of running backs. I mean, all those guys can play. Every one of them, 28, 22, 33, 7. They're all really good backs, and have all had their moments for them throughout the year. A bunch of vets up front. I think they're all back except maybe one. As far as the guys that played against us last year, really, really talented OL, and that's really paved the way for them to have great success offensively this year. Their receivers, they always got good skill. Number 3 is not a very big guy, but he plays big. He makes a lot of big plays in games, in critical situations. I think they've done a great job this year with 11. He was a freshman for them last year, but he has really become kind of a feature guy for them, playmaker. They run a ton of Wildcat, with 11. He's thrown a couple touchdown passes. He's got right around 1,000 yards receiving. He averages about 8 yards a rush, so he is a dynamic player, as well as their other receivers. They got several guys that can make plays, and then they do an excellent job, involving their tight ends. 81 and 89 are 2 big, long guys that can run. They can get down the field and stretch it on the vertical routes, the corner routes. So I'm very impressed with what they've done defensively. Their young defense that has gotten better the latter part of the season here. They've their last 2 games they've given up 12 points and 20 points. So they are playing with more confidence. I think they only got 3 seniors that play for them over there on the defensive side. So a young group, like I said, that has kind of had to grow up throughout the year. Their defensive line, big, strong, physical, thick guys. Most of those guys played against us last year, and got a couple of dynamic guys at linebacker. Not sure. I know number 1 is the guy. I'm not sure if he's going to play or not. I know he got hurt last week, but anticipate they'll probably move number 12 down the corner if he can't go. But this is one of those games where, just like we saw last year, special teams can impact it. We had the 2 critical turnovers on punt return that led to 2 scores for them, and end of the day, that was the difference in the game. Just critical that we are sound in the kicking game. They've got excellent returners. Number 11 and 3 are very involved, and 7 in their return game, and a good kicker and a good punter. So biggest thing for us is just trying to finish. So last week we want to finish better than we have, obviously, in the past several years. And for us to do that, we got to do the things that give us a chance to win. We have to play well and do the things that give us a chance. Such as taking care of the football. Last 5 years we've had 15 turnovers to their 3. They've scored 62 points off of those turnovers to our 0. So that's a critical, factor, and has been in this game. We got to, because it affects everything. It affects your field position and everything about the game, your time of possession and all that stuff. So we've got to do the things that give us a chance. Sound in the kicking game. Take care of the football, minimize the big plays, and give yourself a chance to win it. With that, I'll take your questions. Just before that, though, I'll say Deshaun. I know everybody's going to ask about Deshaun. He did practice yesterday in a green jersey. Monday practice is a short practice. We're only out there about an hour. Today, we'll find out a lot more. We'll put him in a kind of a normal jersey, and he'll practice at normal tempo with the rest of the guys, and we'll evaluate him, see where he is. It really is a day-to-day thing. I'm not trying to have some conspiracy or anything like that. We just don't know, and until we can go through and watch him, practice the way he's got to practice to be able to play. And it's a situation we may not really know until game time. I don't know, because he is getting a little bit better each day, and so hopefully he got a new brace on yesterday that he seemed pretty comfortable with. So we'll see how he does today with some good competitive work, good on good and stuff like that, where the speed of the game is going to be a little better today. So with that, I'll take your questions.
With even if he's not as mobile as he normally is and all, is he still your best option if he's able to play on Saturday?
Well, I think, again, as long as he can do the things that we need him to do to win the game, he's our starter. I mean, he's proven that. But he's got to be able to do those things. I mean, we can't change our offense. He's got to be able to play and execute. He's got to be able to escape. He has to be able to, run our system. And those are things that he has to demonstrate throughout the week of practice.
Coach, does the pressure of this game continue to rise with each loss? I mean, how important would it be to avoid a 6-1, maybe to feel less heat in this rivalry game?
It's always big. We can win Saturday, and guess what? Next year it'll be just as big. It's a big game every year. It really is. It's always pressure to win this game, but nobody puts more pressure on themselves than what we do as a team in trying to prepare every week to win the game. Literally. We want to win every single one of them. Obviously, this is the biggest of the season. It's the last one, and we have not finished well. And it's something that we want to get corrected and turned around. It only comes once a year. You only get one shot. It's not like basketball where you can play them again in a couple weeks or something down the stretch. We get one shot, once a year. And we certainly understand, the disappointment when it doesn't go our way.
With all the great things you've accomplished here, your team has accomplished here, does it haunt you at all that it's been the 5 years that you haven't got this one big thing done that the fans still want to see?
I'm disappointed, just as disappointed as anybody else. But I don't sit around and just focus on the negative. That's the society we live in. That's the world we live in, where there's a lot of people out there that they're miserable people for that reason. All they want to focus on is the negative. That's it. And when you live your life that way, you're never going to be happy. So I don't sit around and wake up every day miserable with life because we've got one major disappointment over the last few years, and we've done too many great things. And I know I've been a part of many rivalry games. I know that these things can be cyclical, and we just got to turn around. You got to be honest. We understand the reality and not the perception. We know what the reality is, and the reality is we've lost 5 in a row, and nobody happy about it. We know why. We know what we got to do to turn that around, but we got to go do it. But to sit here and say that, this one game completely discounts everything that's been accomplished at Clemson the last 6 years is crazy. That's really a lack of respect to our players for what they've been able to do. Because if it was easy to do what this group's done the last 6 years, it would have been done a lot more the previous 20, 30 years. And so, I think that you certainly can't stick your head in the mud and just not pay attention to the negative. I mean, we're always trying to get better, and this is an area that we got to get better. There's no doubt about it. But to say that it just, takes away from everything we've accomplished, I think that's a very narrow way to look at it.
Dabo, I don't know how much you've looked at the entire history of the rivalry, but for most of that, South Carolina just hasn't been very good. And lately, they've got the best players and the best coach they've ever had by far. What's it been like to go up these last 5 years against Spurrier and the players he's had?
Well, I mean, God never said it'd be easy. And I always say God never says oops. And for whatever reason, God chose me to be the head coach at Clemson in the greatest era in the history of South Carolina football. And, I'm a competitive guy. And obviously Coach Spurrier's legacy speaks for itself. He's a Hall of Famer. He's a great football coach and has been for a long time. He's won consistent. I mean, what he's done at South Carolina is his legacy. Because of what you're saying, and they've been really good. That's the other thing. Everybody just wants to get mad at Clemson. Nobody wants to give South Carolina any credit. They've been really good. We've lost to Florida State the last couple of years, but everybody's lost to Florida State, and nobody beat Florida State. So it's something that. Those 2 games, but we finished in the top 10 2 years in a row. I think South Carolina finished in the top 10 maybe 3 years in a row. And they have had an incredible run, incredible stretch. And you give them credit. I don't like that, but, we've got to worry about Clemson and trying to, get this thing turned back in the direction that we want it here. But I don't want to take anything away from South Carolina. They've earned it. They've earned it on the field. They've earned it on that day, those 4 quarters, and at the end of the day, that's all that matters. But they've been able to do it because, Coach Spurrier's done a good job with his coaching staff, and they've had excellent players, that have been really good winners for them.
Is there anything that you changed as a head coach as far as your approach to this game, given what's happened recently? Maybe the mental approach or deflecting pressure away from your team, creating more pressure?
They live in the world. There's no way to deflect pressure. It's not like we live in a cave. I mean, us coaches do, but these young players, I mean, we come in as coaches. I mean, we're bunker mentality every week. I mean, there's things that go on that I have no idea what's going on outside of these walls unless somebody tells me. But our players, they don't live in that world. And we get them 17 hours, Monday through Friday. That's it. Because 3 hours count on the game. That'd be the 20. So there's a lot more hours in the week than 17 where we can kind of lock them up. So, there's not – it is what it is. We don't like it. Let's go change it. We have a plan to win. It doesn't change from week to week. It is what it is. Let's execute the plan to win. Let's take ownership of what we got to do to win each and every game. But you can't, in this day and age, you can't insulate your players from negativity. You have to create a culture in your program that hopefully teaches your guys what's important, what's not important, what to listen to, what not to listen to, and those type of things.
What's been the single most pleasant surprise defensively that you say you've seen in the last 3 months?
Pleasant surprise? Dorian O'Daniel. Probably it. nothing really, as far as production-wise, defensively. As I told y'all in the beginning of the year, I felt like we were going to be a great defense. I felt like we could be one of the best in the country. I felt like we would be much improved on the back end. And all those things have played out. Here we are in November. But I've been pleasantly surprised with Dorian O'Daniel and how he's kind of turned the corner and really gotten serious about being a good football player. I think he's got a bright, bright future moving forward.
I guess to that point, it's been more than just the big three guys in the preseason. Ware, Peters,
all those guys. Not a surprise, but I'm really happy that Tony Stewart has had the year that he's had. Yeah, he's been healthy all year. He's just flying around. You wish a guy like that had another year. It's good to see him, play the way he's played. He's been outstanding, and he'll have a chance to keep on playing, because of what he's been able to do this year. It's never too late. I know a lot of people, wrote Tony off a long time ago because he just had, just been through a tough journey. But you really only need one good year, and but it's been very rewarding for me to see him perform and play like he's played this year. Very proud of him and excited that he's back where we all wanted him to be when he got here.
Does Watson have to be at 100% in your mind before you play him Saturday? Let's just say
No, he's not going to be at 100%.
Is there a percentage that
he just got to be able to do the things that we need him to do to run our offense? He doesn't have to be, his 100%. To be honest with you, very few players out there are 100% when you're in your 12th game of the season on either team. But he's got to be able to execute at a high level for us. That's for sure.
Dabo, a lot of the turnovers the last few years against these guys, drop passes as well, uncharacteristic mistakes. Looking back, do you think that's been the result of pressing or?
I don't know about that. I think last year, when I came home and watched the tape, I felt a lot better about the game. Miserable that we lost. But the one thing we talk to our guys about all the time is we don't worry about the scoreboard. We can live with the results as long as we play the right way. How you play. And, there can always be a couple of plays here or there or, one or two individuals that can impact the whole game. That's just the nature of a team sport. But I really thought we played very well last year, really well. We ran the football well. We averaged, 4.5 yards a carry. Hot Rod had 100-something yards rushing. We did some nice things in the passing game. Defensively, the first half we weren't quite in the rhythm. They did a good job on us on third down in the first half. But second half we really played well defensively. And you're really sick that you lost the game, and you go back and you think you're going to see certain things, and you're like, well, dadgum. We really did it. We really played well. Just as far as how do you have to play to give yourself a chance to win. We just didn't. We just had a couple of crazy things, but that's football, and you give them credit for that. And then right there, the last two at the end. We're trying to go score quick, kicking onside. Those count, but it's really those first four turnovers. Because even with 3 turnovers, we're driving, and we got a chance to go in and score and tie the game up, even with 3. Taj had a bust on that. We got the same play we'd hit Martavis on earlier. It's wide open, and he just, for whatever reason, read the wrong side, and he took off running and had a decent run, and he just was fighting for extra yards, and the ball comes out in a scrum, and that was a changing point of the game. But we actually held them. We actually, defensively, we stopped them. So we're getting the ball back, and we got a nice punt return to about midfield, and the ball comes out right at the last second. So it's just kind of, really, just a few little plays that cost us, because it cost us possessions. Where our defense got stops and we didn't possess the ball. You have to get the ball back to have a chance. So you look back and we only had 50-something plays. And well, why? Were they stoning you? No. We really had a good plan, executed well. But that's football. Sometimes that ball just, doesn't bounce your way, and you give them credit for that because they did a good job of getting those balls out. They kept Taj up, and they kind of fall down. It was probably that much from his knee being down, and, Adams got a great return. The one earlier in the game, just kind of like last week, just falls out of the sky and hits Martavis trying to block his guy, hits him in the head, and after we'd gotten a stop, now they got a new possession. They went on to get a score. And those are some things that are hard to overcome, and they have not turned it over. They've done a tremendous job of taking care of the football against us. To say that guys are pressing, or I don't think so. I thought we played very well last year. We just didn't take care of the ball, and it's all about the ball when you got a good team.
Why do you have a countdown clock for this game, and does that maybe add to some of that pressure? That's a unique.
Yeah, we've talked about that before, but that's actually something the coaches brought to me last year, last early part of spring, and really just, again, it's not something that has ruined our 6 years here, but it's something that we got to get changed. And so it really is a season of its own. You kind of have the season, and then you have South Carolina, and it's not we don't say anything about it, never have. But we want everybody to be reminded every day that, hey, that game it's coming, and it only comes once a year, and it's something that we thought just to make sure that we kept it in front of our guys every day, and because again, this is you can lose a game, and a couple months later, you see people in the grocery store, they're not going to say anything about it. But when you lose this one, it never stops, because it's something that everybody is really passionate about, and it's an honor to be a part of such a great battle, such as this.
Can you, for those of us who